Greetings and welcome to the Alpha Sapphire L Lock. This is a modifier of the classic Nuzlocke mode with a few additional rules. They come in this very simple form. I am limited to only using Pokemon whose species begin with the letter L. I created and beat this lock previously in Ultra Moon, which you can see on my channel in a form of shorts, but wanted to change up the type of video for the next installment of the Nuzlocke challenge. All of this right before Legend Z8 comes out, which I'm way too excited for, and will be streaming my first playthrough on here on YouTube. Tune in when it comes out, I'm sure it'll be loads of fun. This Nuzlocke still has its usual rules, consisting of level caps for gym leaders, first encounters that start with or evolve into a species whose name begins with L is the name of the game. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications if you think I will be successful. That fun stuff out of the way, we get access to our first encounter, Lotad. Labamba is going to be the only Pokemon we have access to use for a while. So the main challenge we have for Lotad is not overleveling, as well as avoiding death at all costs. Roxanne's highest level Pokemon is 14, so we are able to evolve into Lombre right before the gym fight, which comes a little closer than preferred. We start by breaking her Geodude's Sturdy and taking about a third HP from the following Rock Tomb. After a potion, Lombre takes its HP back with a singular absorb to end off Geodude. Next is the Ace Nosepass, who has a very good defensive typing and just the mono rock. It's a lot better than people downplay it, since a lot of rock types are also part ground, and it just hardens the first turn, giving me a free bubble. This is shortly celebrated as I am then hit with a critical hit from her next Rock Tomb, getting me under half. After making me use an Oran Berry, a pair of bubbles, able to end the Nosepass and the rest of the fight, granting me my first gym badge. We immediately have to beeline to Dewford since the next cap is only level 16, which Labamba hits while fighting a gym trainer at the fighting type gym. With some newfound fake out support, this gym should be a little easier. Brawley leads with a Machop, who of course I fake out turn 1. I use Bubble to try and lower speed, and since it's the best move I have access to, before taking a Seismic Toss. Machop then takes a second Bubble, going for Leer on the next turn. After Super Potion, I get some HP back with an Absorb. I go for Bubble when Machop just goes and sets up a Focus Energy in my face. The next turn I outspeed and easily end it with another Bubble. Ace Makuhita switches in, takes a bubble, and knocks off the Oran Berry I have, bringing me down to 13 HP. After another bubble, it goes for a Sand Attack for... Honestly, I wish I knew why. I thought I would have saw a kill with another move. But I'm able to hit after the accuracy drop, granting me my second gym badge. Finally, with a higher level cap, I can stop this solo run, pick up a couple of encounters who are finally able to battle, since the level cap is now level 21, making Looter the Lanoon and Loud MF the Loudred. This is primarily necessary thanks to the upcoming rival fight. I lead Lombre versus Brendan's unnamed Pokemon, so I have my usual combo of faking out the opponent before actually doing damage. I bubble into Slugma, bringing it very low before taking a soft rock throw and KOing the next turn. Grovyle is sent in next, and I can use some more team members. After a crit Fury Cutter and Quick Attack, I missed the Pin Missile with Looter. Next turn I outspeed and hit 3 times with Pin Missile before taking an Overgrow boosted Mega Drain. I opt into Headbutt next turn after outspeeding just to stay safe from an accuracy mess, taking out the Grovyle. Finally is my rival's Wailmer. Takes way too long to KO. I mean, Lombre literally gets Absorb as the only level up grass type move in this game. Who thought that was a good idea? Like, it doesn't make sense. Finally, moving into Mauville, I buy myself the TM for Bulldoze, end Wally's dreams and aspirations, mow through the gym trainers, and find myself up against Watson. He leads a Magnemite that really likes the Thunder Wave, so I set up Howl turn 1 with Loudred, and with the held Cherry Berry, I'm able to negate the paralysis. This does not do much, sadly, since Magnemite has the Sturdy ability and will not get one shot. After getting to Sturdy once, it then paralyzes me again. Well. Watson then heals over his next turn, leaving an opening for another Bulldoze and another Sturdy activation. Magnemite only has Volt Switch, and it uses it to swap into a friendly Voltorb who is one shot by Bulldoze. After switching back in, it does the same Volt Switch move, bringing in the Ace Magaton, who has Magnet Pull instead of Sturdy. This one-shots the triplets. I feel really bad for this Magnemite, he's really setting me up here. I'm a little too low to go on, however, so I switch into Looter to end off the rest of the HP and get the Dynamo badge. Beating Watson grants the Mach and Acrobike, and heading to Granite Cave gives me an Errand to use for later, the Steel Excite, and the TM for Shadow Claw. I don't think I ever knew the move was here the whole time, and of course it was on an invisible rock. I reach Meteor Falls, which requires us to have a double battle against Team Aqua with our rival. Easily handled, of course. And with a little bit of running around, we run into Lunatone for our next encounter, the second Pokemon to actually be of an L name upon its capture. Lunatone will serve wonderful purposes in the coming gyms, even if it is another rock type. We charge Mount Chimney, facing off against an easy Shelly and a free Archie. His Mighty Anna likes to set up Swagger on turn 1, so I lead with the ever-faithful Loud MF to get free bonus stats with a held Berry. I bulldoze turn 1 to slow it down and knock out with a Stomp. Sharpedo comes in, but is one-shot thanks to its low defenses by a second Stomp. I'm also +2, but still, looking good out there. Lastly is Golbat, who I switch into our new Lunatone named Light to take on. My best psychic move is Psywave, however, I still have a good rock option in the form of Rock Slide. And after I break Confusion, the fight is over. Descending Mount Chimney brings us to the 4th gym battle against Flannery. I start with Light, who hits a Hypnosis on its first turn versus another unnamed Pokemon. I'm a little scared of the Ace Torkoal, so I set up 2 Cosmic Powers before Slugma wakes up and puts up a Light Screen. After a 3rd Cosmic Power, the Slug goes for a Sunny Day. So now, with +3 in both my special and physical defenses, I take him out with a quick Rock Slide. Nummo comes in and takes a Rock Slide before setting up Amnesia. Healing to full the next turn, Light brings the Nummo back to a quarter, right as Light Screen fades. One more Rock Slide is just like hay on the camel's back and ends it. Lastly, Torkoal takes roughly 40% from a Rock Slide before using Curse to bolster defenses. I use another Rock Slide as it just sets up a Sunny Day. 3rd Rock Slide does not kill, but I get a flinch, leading me to end with the ever so powerful Psywave. 4 gyms down, 4 to go. Before going back to Petalburg, I pick up the Root Fossil and bring it back. An old face, Lilac, from our Ultra Moon run. I had a scare in gym fights as a Zangoose almost killed my Lunatone, but we were able to face off against our father Norman. Turn 1, the first Slacking goes for a Yawn, which we will negate with a Chesto Berry. I hit Hypnosis turn 1 and start stacking my defenses to +6, abusing the Truant turns. I'm even encored on my 3rd boost, which is a sign to tell me this will be worthwhile. Slacking goes for another Yawn when I get to my maximum defenses +6 on both sides, and I hit a Psychic for almost half before falling asleep. I assumed he wanted to encore me again, so I'm glad I'm stuck on an attacking move. After waking up and taking a very light feint attack, I take Slaking deep into the red with a Psychic. He heals next turn, and I use another 2 Psychics to get him down low before getting yawned. The 3rd Psychic takes out the 1st Sloth. Vigoroth comes in second, who locks me into Encore, and I use Psychic before falling asleep. Vigoroth uses Feint Attack for very minimal damage while I continue to sleep for 2 turns in a row. Still locked into Psychic, I wake up on the 3rd turn to take him out. The final Psyking is similar to the first, but this one has the move Swagger, missing on its first turn to let me get 2 free Psychics after Truant. Since Swagger missed, I have to flex and hit my lower accuracy Hypnosis, of course, before a Rock Slide and Psychic end the fight. A very clean sweep from our Rock, if I do say so myself. With this new level cap, we can finally use Lairon and have a full team of 6 for the first time ever in this run. We were abducted by Steven Stone, who we helped to save a Latias. Now, I did think long and hard about this decision, probably like 20 minutes or so. Legendary, free Megastone. But of course, remember there only being one restriction. All my Pokemon species has to begin with the letter L. I really only see myself using Latias out of desperation as a last resort, so we'll see how it goes. I will not be using the Mega, so I think it'll be a little bit more fair there. After forgetting Lombre needs a Water Stone to evolve, and clearing the Weather Institute, I have another rival fight before reaching Fortree City. This red thing goes down to a Surf, and next comes in Grovyle. Looter switches into the Gecko and hits 3 times with a pin missile to take him out. Deja Vu. Whalmer is next, who takes half from a slash before setting up Mist. A second slash crits, netting me the victory. I scoop the Devon Scope, a really weird rock. Now it's time for the longest gym fight ever versus Winona. You would think it's ironic. All the rock and steel types I have should make this a fairly easy sweep, of course, right? Sadly, this was not the case. Leading Lerny into Swallow, I get a one-shot with Rock Slide, easy enough. Bringing in Altaria. This thing has Earthquake, so I will not stay in. Lunatone swaps for free thanks to its Levitate ability. I take a Dragon Breath before putting the Natural Cure Pokemon to sleep. I probably should have started attacking instead, but I get greedy and go for Cosmic Power setup on her Skarmory switch. I use Psychic just to test out damage, but that Steel Wing could have killed, so I swap. I switch in my Grass type, of course, and using a combination of Fake Out and Surf for maximum damage, leaving Skarmory in the red. After a crit Air Cutter, Skarmory seals its fate with a Hyper Potion, leaving Labama to hit 2 free Surfs and taking it out. Other remaining Pokemon is Pelipper. I really don't know what to do with this. I swap in on an Aerial Ace with Looter, and it starts to stall with Protect. I crit with Slash and take a decent Water Pulse. After more Protect mess, it goes for Roost, right when it enters the red. Now we have a fun dance of Protect spamming, roosting when low, and just overall annoyance. All while it still chips me down with Water Pulse. Man, this Pokemon is triggering. So it's time to try something different. Argyle Loud MF swaps into a fully healed Pelipper. I still can only do about a third with Stomps. More Protects, more Roosts, more Stomps, more Stalls. Endless loop. I even get down to the red HP during this mess, which forced me to bring out Latias and clean up with a Dragon Breath. Lastly, the now awake Altaria faces off against my Latias. I go for a Dragon Breath that does great damage. Take one myself before KOing the next turn with a second. Finally getting the badge after a literal 10-minute fight. Sapphire gives us a fight against Matt, who has a Sharpedo without a water move. And we grab the red rock because it negates the blue rock, of course. These movesets are so weird in this game. Lilycove has another rival fight, in which he has 4 Pokemon this time. I take a mean hit from Swallow before swapping into Lerny, who knocks out Swallow after a light Aerial Ace with its own Iron Head. Wailord is next, who has been known for his stall, and I switch in Looter to a fully powered Water Spout. Oh my goodness, I was not thinking he had Water Spout. That was extremely dumb. I'm switching to my Grass type. I still have no Grass type TMs or anything that can actually take out the big whale, since I have 20 base power Absorb as a level 38 Pokemon. This is just crazy. What were they thinking? Latias swaps into Wailord after rest, getting 2 free Dragon Breaths and taking a small bit of damage from Brine. The Aseptile comes in, who has to do more Protect shenanigans in the form of Detect, giving me major Deja Vu here. Setting up agilities to outspeed and hit a dual chop eventually on my Latias. I take him to a quarter health before I realize this guy does not have a Grass type move. Very interesting Pokemon. Very interesting. Latias comes back and my Rock and Steel type goes into the Grass type. And I take out the Lizard with an Iron Head. My Cargo is last, who's not much of a threat, but my Water type is also a Grass type. I take half, switching into a Flame Burst that also crit, before OHKOing with Surf the next turn. After the fight, we have to go to Slateport to witness a submarine get stolen by a crime syndicate. Then the 10-year-old is sent in to solve the region's problems and make sure to take the Master Ball before proceeding to drown 5 puppies and battle Matt again. Matt still doesn't know how to swim, so later on knocks out with 2 Rock Slides, even breaking through being frozen on turn 1. I need to use the HM Dive, which requires another gym badge. The Psychic type gym is a double battle, so I lead with Looter and Lerny into the floating rocks. Looter gets solid damage with the Shadow Claw as Solrock sets up the sun and Lunatone hits a Psychic. Lerny is able to end the sun with an Iron Head, leaving just 1 Pokemon. My next turn I protect my Lairon, but Lunatone wanted to go for my Lanoon, getting half of Shadow Claw. I swap into my own Lunatone after taking light damage from a Psychic and ending the fight with another Iron Hand. Man, that felt so good after our last fight. The world starts to end as Team Aqua goes to C4 Cavern, and a very rich man named Steven gives me the HM for Dive to investigate, since he's super busy, of course. Take some time first to search Evergrande City and fish up Lumpy the Love Disc. I also go on underwater on a route to get myself a Chinchou, and our old friend Leonard is back. This new addition is time to try and stop Archie's terrible plans. La Bamba hits Fake Out, a necessity on turn 1. Mightyena sets up a taunt and I start using Grass Knots. A pair takes out the dog. Muck comes in next, who only has poison offensive moves. I look at my party and Laron is not there because of all the HMs I had to go and teach people, so Latias whips into a Gunk Shot for a third of her HP. I hit a miss ball for 3/4 before another Gunk Shot takes me low. I opt into using Recover just to waste some PP from Gunk Shot as well as be helpful for whatever comes in next, getting hit by 4 out of the 5 Gunk Shots he has. I thought this move was 80% accurate? I finish off with nearly full HP as Crobat comes in. I hit a miss ball for most of its HP before taking an Acrobatics for solid damage. I don't want Latias out when Sharpedo comes in since it Mega Evolves in this fight, so I debate for a while before switching Leonard into a weak Acrobatics. I get Mean Lick the next turn, but Discharge is enough to end off the friendly bat. Sharpedo's last, as I spoiled, it Mega Evolves in this fight. Really scary guy. It uses Crunch, leaving me on 2 HP before it gets one-shot by Discharge. Talk about clutch. Kyogre is awakened to add more water to the Hoenn region, and while equipped with the Red Rock, we jump on its back for a quick trip. I Master Ball it because I'm not dealing with all that, before saving the world. Now for our last gym fight. Wallace starts the fight with a Love Disc of his own. I start with our Electric type. I get hit from a small Draining Kiss before getting an Oko with Discharge. Wishcast is next, so I swap into my Grass type to try and abuse the quad weakness and not die from Earthquake. I use Grass Knot, but Wishcast does not weigh much at all, letting me get hit by a Zen Headbutt. Ouch. I take the Catfish out next turn with the final Grass Knot, and the Ace Milotic comes in. Since Ice Beam is a move and has, I swap into Leonard again to take the hit. Of course it crits. A second Ice Beam does practically nothing as I go for a Confuse Ray. Milotic hits Hydro Pump through Confusion, I'm still above half. I wanted a stat drop from Signal Beam, which I don't get of course, but Milotic hits itself on the next turn so I can get a free Discharge. After it recovers, I Discharge, and this time I'm able to paralyze it. I take it out on the next turn since I outspeed. Celio is second from last, he takes a Discharge before going for a crit Body Slam on Leonard. Wallace seals his Seal's fate after using a Hyper Potion, letting me get 2 free Discharges to take it out. Finally, a Seaking, who doesn't have Lightning Rod or anything that can touch Leonard, sets up an Aqua Ring, and I nearly KO with a Discharge. Next turn, just gives up using Rain Dance and letting me get the final gym badge of the run. I do have a few final measures I need to get out of the way, which involves getting encounters that were previously locked behind the Pokedex and Kyogre's defeat. These include Lillipup, Swallow, and a couple of others, but there are only a few that truly matter at this point in the game, as we're trying to prepare for the Elite Four. We get a Lopunny, a Lavani, and finally get a Waterstone for our first guy, La Bamba. After nearly dying in Victory Road, it is time for one last fight versus Wally. I lead Lucky to get about half with a return while taking little damage from an Aerial Ace. Altaria sets up Cotton Guard and gives me free victory after a third return. Roselia switches in, getting one shot by my Rampaging Rabbit, and next comes in Magneton. I go for a Jump Kick which does well as I take a Tri-Attack, and I end up going for a return again on the next turn to take out the third Pokemon in this fight. Just looking like a sweep right now. Ducati's a little stally, so I decided to play it safe and swap to my Latias and take a very soft disarming voice on the swap. I'm scared to knock out the Delcatty since Mega Gallade is in the back, so I get put to sleep after I recover. I wait out my sleep turn, so I'm nearly full HP for the Gallade. I outspeed the Mon, which is extremely helpful, letting me get good damage with a Psyshock before it sets up Swords Dance. Oh, don't please don't do anything crazy. I only have one option here, which is Psyshocking again. And to my surprise, he goes for the resisted Psycho Cut instead of Slash, granting me a victory. Alright, time to rummage some last held items and start the Elite Four. Sydney's first, and I start with Luscious holding a Citrus Berry. I set up Swords Dance turn 1, and since Mightyena likes the swagger, I am at +4 on turn 1. My first opportunity, I hit myself in confusion, take good damage from a Crunch. My Citrus Berry comes into effect, and after taking a Sucker Punch, I knock out with X-Scissor. Absol is next, but since I outspeed, I risk the confusion and take out the Absol. Thank goodness I broke through. The same case is for Sharpedo, also falling to a singular attack. Shiftry comes in 4th, and now I have to play smart, switching to La Bamba for the Fake Out. I use Fake Out back, and realize I don't really have any way to damage the Shiftry, so Lucky switches into a Leaf Blade before answering with a Return, knocking it out. Cacturn is last and likes to stall with Leech Seed and Spiky Shield, so it truly is not much of a threat. I just don't want to risk a move like Jump Kick and a Spiky Shield because the recoil plus Protect would be brutal. I finally take the Cactus out, beating the first member. BB is second, Ghost type trainer. I lead Lucius again, this time he's holding a Persian Berry to catch the Confuse Ray from the opponent Dusclops. I go for a +2 Shadow Claw, which knocks out the Dusclops in one hit, and that was a high roll for sure. Dusknoir comes in, takes a Shadow Claw, and I completely forgot he had the elemental punches. Luckily I survive and crit after Phoebe heals. Wish he did that the first time around. Next is Sableye, so I don't really want to play with Power Gem since I know I cannot Oko. Learning switches in, takes nothing thanks to a held Eviolite. I'm susceptible to foul plays, but after a couple of turns it goes down. Next up is one of 2 Bannettes. Both are annoying, but I protect to confirm the move lists first. I switch in to Leonard to surf the Banette a couple of times before taking it out, getting burned by Will-O-Wisp in the process. The final Banette goes for Grudge for some reason on its first turn, so I get over half of Surf for free. Next turn I repeat my process, finishing the fight. Glacia is scary, as I have 2 grass types and a dragon type on my team. I start with Lernie, of course, witnessing her first Glalie go for Hail before nearly OHKOing with Ironhead. As she heals, I use another Ironhead to get him back in the red, and after a crunch, Lernie completes his mission. Next is Wall Rain, which counters my little guy, so I have to make a swap. I go into Leonard to take the incoming Surf, and follow-up Body Slam gets me just about half HP. I use Discharge and it paralyzes first try, guaranteeing that I outspeed the next turn. Roslass is third, 1 of 2, and she sets up Hail to activate her Snow Cloak ability. I confuse Ray turn 1 because 100% Blizzards are not in my appetite. I get hit by a Shadow Ball as it breaks her confusion and do okay damage with a Discharge. I end up swapping to Ludicolo to stall out some Hail turns, taking a Blizzard before almost killing with Knockoff. It was so close, I don't get it. But now that he's low, I have to make another switch. After thinking way too much, I swap Lucius in on a heal turn, and I go for Shadow Claw as she sets up Hail again. I know Snow Cloak is annoying, but Shadow Claw connects and KOs the first of the 2 Frostlass. I see her twin sister and go for Shadow Claw, not before taking serious damage from a Blizzard and getting frozen. So I have to switch if I want to keep my guy, and Latias makes an appearance in this fight. Taking about half from Blizzard, I debate between healing or attacking, picking the attack and knocking out with Dragon Breath. Last is another Glalie, who I let Lucky try to deal with. Sets up Hail while I swap. Takes a third from Return and then proceeds to crit and freeze with Freeze Dry. Next turn, it gets another crit. This is not Frost Breath that always crits, but Freeze Dry. Talk about luck. I gain my senses and finally put in Lernie to end the fight with a crit of its own through its Ironhead move. 4th and final member is Drake, the Dragon Trainer. We're so close now. I start with Lernie, who Rock Slides Altaria and sets up a Cotton Guard. Next turn uses a Dragon Pulse, which does so little, and Rock Slide hits to take it to a third. Same as the previous turn occurs again, I'm able to take out the bird this time. Next is 1 of 2 Flygons, presumably the one with Earthquake, so I switch into Latias and avoid thanks to Levitate. I fire a Dragon Breath and dodge an attack from Flygon. Drake heals, so I Dragon Breath again, and this time I paralyze. Then Drake heals again, and I get a second paralysis proc on the Flygon, making quick work of the dragon. A Salamence comes in, and I know I really don't have anything for it, so I let Latias take 1 more Dragon Breath before saying goodbye. This even got me a 3rd paralysis. Such a saint. Lucky takes out the Salamence with a return to avenge his fallen friend. The special Flygon flies in, and since I outspeed, Return is able to do half. I get hit by a Screech when all the remaining moves are special and not physical. Good plan there, Drake. I take him out next turn with a Return. Kingdra's the last mon, and 2 returns aren't quite enough to take him out, and in the process I am put to sleep by Yawn. It is obvious Drake no longer has healing items, so I send in Leonard to clean house. Now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, the fight against Steven Stone himself, the champion. I start with Leonard into his Skarmory, who is, of course, Stally. It has Toxic, so I wanted to use a Pecha Berry, but instead of trying to Toxic my guy, he places 2 layers of spikes in the 2 turns of discharges that I use. At least I am able to take a knockout. Speaking of ground and spikes, Aggron comes in wanting to use Earthquake. So I swap into Labamba, who immediately fakes out. This is intentional. It does 0.2 damage, but since 30 is broken, I am able to Scald and take it out next turn. Cradleus third, who is more bulky to deal with than anything else. And I swap into Lerny, who gets confused by a Confused Ray. Starts to chip at me with Giga Drain. We're tied for speed here, which is good to have, but not always the best. I eventually get down to 15 HP. I can't swap out or anything because swapping back in would just kill Lairon with the spikes. So I try for an Iron Head, winning a speed tie at a clutch moment to flinch while literally leaving him at 2 HP. I get 2 more and lose the speed tie in the next turn, sealing Lerny's fate. Lucky has Jump Kick, so I have him take out the Prehistoric Plant for us. 3 to go. Claydol swaps in, and I could have returned a bunch, but I thought it'd be wise to try to set up for big damage, swapping in Luscious. After seeing Reflect come out, I use a Sword Stance and take an extra Sensory. Next turn, Leaf Blade does more than half, and Claydol sets up the other screen. I got greedy here, and I wanted to see if I can get more damage, but was also particular about the amount of damage that I could take. After being granted a free heal turn, I get to +4 on the attack side. I take out Claydol with the Leaf Blade, and that was that. Armardal tried to change fate, but at that point the damage was too strong. Lucius even outspeeds the Metagross to get a really strong Shadow Claw off, but there's no way he can live a Giga Impact. But going for Giga Impact gives me an idea. On the recharge turn, I go into Lucky so I can use a few charms to lower that Mon's attack. After 2, thanks to a Giga Impact miss on its next active turn, I finally take one with very solid HP. I go for a Jump Kick that did alright HP, and Metagross has to recharge again. Lucky ended up getting unlucky, however, and missed a Jump Kick, killing itself in the process. Yikes. Finally, Labamba, our starter, jumps into action. After taking some spike damage, a Fake Out is necessary. Metagross uses another Giga Impact, leaving our Ludicolo in the red. As I go for a very weak knockoff, I do stop messing around, however, and KO with a Scald. And with that, it's over. The Nuzlocke challenge, consisting of Pokemons whose names begin with the letter L, is done for Alpha Sapphire. This is a lot of fun to do, and I really hope to make more content like this in the future. Please let me know your thoughts on how the run went. If there's anything else you can think of down in the comment section. Thank you once again for getting all the way through the video, and see you next time.